we got a surprise for you. The lab is creating a new creative community space down in Provo, 187 West Center Street, that will include a public darkroom, a studio space, a gallery. The lab will stay here, but we are going to bring a new creative arm of the theFINDlab to the public that is accessible to anyone and everyone. So we've just launched a Kickstarter today to help us bring all of these creative spaces to reality. We have a handful of perks available, even if you don't live in the state of Utah. Click the link in our description so you can check out the full Kickstarter. We thank you for your support. Here we are in the new space. You're gonna hear a lot of noise in the background because they are rocking and rolling and getting this space up and ready for us to open this spring. We're here right in the front, which is going to be basically a retail space where you can buy film, drop off film, film cameras, all the things. If you want a space where you could just want to come in and hang out and be inspired, come on over. We're gonna have like a whole space in the front that's just basically a library. I've been a photographer for 25 years. And while in school, I learned one thing. I learned a lot of things, but one thing that really stuck with me is that every month I was gonna buy a book, a photo book, someone that I'm gonna be inspired by, something, just one book a month. I'm going to now take my library and bring it down to the lab. I remember seeing In the American West for the first time, and a documentary called Darkness and Light by Richard Avedon, and I ran out of that classroom. Not because it was boring or that I was just like, why did I even watch it? I was so inspired. All I had to do was see that documentary once, and it changed my life. And that's what we want to be able to provide for you. The opportunity for you to be inspired that's gonna get you up off your butt to go create whatever it is that's inside of you that's just been waiting. So in the retail space, once you exit out of here, we'll walk this way. And here's where you enter into what is going to be our daylight studio. I say daylight because we're gonna have a bunch of daylight balanced light banks at the top that look like skylights, but when you turn them on, the goal is to be f11 at 60th of a second at 400 ISO in this room. To put this into perspective, this wall behind me is around 20 feet from that corner to that corner. Probably just a little over 10-foot ceilings, and this wall from this corner to there is about 26 feet. In a space this big, I could easily do a group of 20 to 24 people, 2 rows, no questions asked. I want someone who's just starting out on that college budget to be able to come use it, down to somebody who's gonna do some big, huge, high-end shoot inside there. To make that actually possible, I think it needs to be economical, right? The darkroom, we're gonna intro at 15 bucks an hour. For 15 bucks, you can come in and print to your heart's content. The chemistry's already there. All you gotta do is show up with paper and some negatives. We're also excited to announce that our studio space will start at $35 an hour. Why $35 an hour? Because we feel from a professional all the way down to a college kid on a ramen budget, $35 is accessible for everyone. It's around 4 p.m. right now, and to have this kind of directional light will obviously change as the seasons. I mean, as the days get longer, you're gonna have a lot of just amazing north-facing light onto your subjects. We understand this new creative space is super cool for all the Utah peeps and for anyone else that decides to hop on a plane and come visit us, but it's pretty useless to those folks who say live in Anchorage, Alaska. So we want everyone to have the opportunity to be a part of this analog community. And how can we do that? Man, I am super excited to announce our collaboration with Candido to bring you Studio 400, which is a motion picture film, 400 ISO, daylight balanced. The color is fantastic. Contrast is super great and skin tones are great. So that doesn't mean it needs to just be shot in the studio. We named it Studio 400 because we're creating a new studio space.
I should not go by memory. Today we're going to be shooting the Candido and theFINDlab Studio 400. This lovely lady is Hadley. We're going to be taking her portraits today, and it should be fun. See what we can get done. good sign.
Incredible color, incredible skin tones, very minimal halation from the experience that I've shot. Once our Kickstarter is funded, we will place the order with Candido. Film will promptly ship in a timely manner once we receive the film from Candido, and we cannot wait to see the results that you get. So we step out of the studio, back into retail. You'll walk past here, there's gonna be this really cool display for like all of our cameras and stuff. And then you walk into this massive, to give you a sense of scale, gallery. If you were gonna have a solo gallery show, this is a lot of real estate. You could have an extensive body of work here. The goal is we wanna be able to provide a space for creatives whose work we're behind, whether that medium is photography, painting, mixed media art, whatever. I just love the idea of being able to have a space to showcase work that inspires other people to get off their butts and go create something else.
I created this print for my Photo 2 Darkroom class in school. I photographed my model, which was my daughter, and then I developed the negative, printed this print in the darkroom, and created the mat so that I could present it for a finished product for one of my assignments. I'm Will Reynolds. I went to school for photography. I'm the manager here at the theFINDlab, and we're gonna talk about darkroom printing. So when I went to school, I had a new professor. Turns out he came out of retirement, taught 3 semesters, and then went back into retirement. His name was John Telford, and he learned from Ansel Adams himself. And it was fun when we had some downtime in class to hear stories about Ansel Adams and to just know that I was one person away from the GOAT himself, who literally created the zone system, Ansel Adams, John Telford, and then myself. Funny fact, John Canlis, the owner of the theFINDlab, also had John Telford as a teacher years before me.
So this room is the finishing room, and that's exactly what it is. It's a place where you can finish your prints after you've printed in the public darkroom. So here, there'll be a workstation with lights where you can spot your prints, dry your prints. Like if you've used fiber paper, we'll have a heating machine that will flatten it all out. It's just basically a place where you can inspect your prints after you've printed inside the darkroom. There's gonna be a switch here. You open this door, close this door. When you turn the switch on, everything goes to a red light, light safe, because that light will also turn on the lights that when you walk in here to our public darkroom.
I would spend hours in the darkroom. I would work here at the theFINDlab, and then after my shift was done here, I would go back to school and print. Working at the lab and my Photo 2 class were the 2 things that made me the photographer that I am today. And are 2 things that I would not change ever.
We will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 enlargers here. These enlargers, you'll be able to print up to 16 by 20, and there'll be 2 different sinks here, one ADA approved, and then one that's a little bit higher, that you'll be able to like basically do whatever you need to create black and white prints inside this darkroom.
I am ecstatic for our darkroom. Not only myself, but anybody else at the lab who has gone to school for a darkroom. I know we're all excited to get in there and to teach.
I am super excited that this dream is so close to becoming a reality. Please check out our Kickstarter, and if you believe in film, consider supporting in any way you can. And we hope to see you in Provo sometime soon.